Good morning. Kevin Martin here, your UT admissions guy, joining you today from my hometown of Dallas, Texas. In this video, I provide an example of a real student application, and I provide some commentary to introduce how students build their essays and resume and what might go through reviewers' heads whenever they're reviewing and scoring a student's application. I hope you enjoy. In this application, we have Rima Sethu, who's from Bangalore, India, currently lives in Houston, Texas, has parents who are college graduates, but it's probably likely they were received their degrees in India. So, oftentimes the students, especially immigrant students, face some of the similar challenges that non-immigrant students face whose parents went to college because university systems are different in each country. Kind of a middle class family, speaks a variety of the Indian languages, which is pretty cool. They are listed as a domestic Texas resident, so it's also possible that their parents are um, American citizens or she's been living here a long time. But I guess probably in her application she'll talk a little bit more about that. She is an applicant, first choice McCombs School of Business, goes to Houston Community College. Again, UT doesn't care whether a student goes to a 2 or 4 year university. After the fall semester, they had a 3.8 GPA, but they did not have the required 30 hours by the March 1st deadline, so her spring grades came into account. And I know that after the spring semester, she received a 3.9 because she had all A's. So we see that she has her 1B, I think, in an education course, had credit for calculus, took micro, got an A, and is enrolled in macroeconomics, so fulfills the prerequisite courses to take uh, to be eligible to apply to business. See if she has any activities. So she is involved in her community college of student government, was on student council, and had leadership positions in those, which is something you always like to see. Entrepreneurship, high school entrepreneurship program, competed in competitions, Model UN, not too much of an involvement, basketball team. So not a whole lot sticking out here. A few leadership activities, the entrepreneurship program. Maybe she has some more things going on here. Has some decent volunteer activities. She might tell us a little more about that in her resume. No awards. Okay, it does have some employment. She was an accounting intern at the Home Depot, so that was presumably before her enrollment into HCC. Intern for a summer, both at the India Literacy Project and at a nearby school. So again, has some employment and some kind of relevance for her first choice major, but nothing immediately sticking out. But let's take a look at her essays and see what she tells us. Interesting. So she started, okay, moves from the US, spent 10 years in India, switched between 3 different schools. My parents first transferred me to a more cultural school with a total of 7 students. We learned in literal shacks. My classmates were behind in their education and far below my grade level. I suffered greatly and switched back into mainstream schooling. And throughout her essay, she develops a really strong facility with language, speaks very thoughtfully and with maturity about her academic and educational journey. Made it through 10th grade with additional extensive coaching. Despite my setback, I know I could do better. My accounting teacher became my biggest inspiration. I started keeping up with corporate strategies and their effects on the economy, completed additional coursework, also taught herself some courses with Khan Academy, pursued an internship with the accounting department of Home Depot. For the first time, I saw the theoretical concepts come to life as I helped to facilitate vendor payments and profitable product pricing. Chance to interact with higher level financial managers gave me exposure to strategic decision making. So this is a really good fit for major. She's giving us clear reasons why she wants to pursue what she does. And then here she talks more about UT. Both the university will help connect me with opportunities. I want to participate in Texas stock team and the University Finance Association, which I don't have those opportunities at HCC, and I don't think any Texas universities can offer me the same opportunities. Cites a few professors she might want to work with. This is a very nice statement as to why she wants to go to UT. So we have where she's coming from in her past, where she's at now with the internship, and where she wants to go in the future. have a good idea of what I want to seek because and avoiding opportunities that may not be in my best interest because I've been in so many different situations. So again, this really thoughtful perspectives on her growth and her childhood and helps inform her decision of where she wants to be in the future. It's a very nice essay. A. So her issue of importance. So we have an interesting link to her first choice major. I believe an important tool for fighting poverty is access to reliable financial resources. This isn't abstract. She introduces talking about a friend of hers from a lower place in society who she ended up help tutoring in his education system. For disadvantaged children does not equip them with basic English and math skills. I had the privilege of growing up with computers and I shared my skills with others. I've observed a strong relationship between education levels and poverty. I have a desire to solve this issue by empowering families to finance their education. In India, poverty isn't abstract. I participated in an entrepreneurial project in my high school. My team and I created a mobile lab, transported teaching equipment to poor communities, conducted market research. So that's interesting. So this is adding a lot more context to her resume. So this doesn't immediately come out, but it sounds like this is a pretty substantive activity funded by charity donors. It's a cost-efficient way to get resources to needy students, raise funds for physically and mentally disabled children. So that's a very, again, very thoughtful essay. Great development of her ideas. Provides some clear, specific examples to back up the points that she makes in introduction. Addressing poverty requires a nuanced understanding of relationships between cultures and communities. Here at HCC, I've noticed similarities between India and the United States. Although poverty in Houston can be less apparent, many of my classmates are hardworking people trying to make their way out of poverty. So this is, again, kind of an empathetic perspective, looking around and seeing some of the similarities, and again, how things, may be a lot more dire or of a higher magnitude in India that the United States faces some similar issues too. So this is a student who's quite thoughtful, self-aware, aware of her surroundings, and Rima, seems to have a good grasp on some very complex issues, and I think would probably add a lot to classroom discussions in business and other courses. Again, kind of elaborates a little bit more on why she wants to study business. Experience with my childhood friend helped inspire me to pursue my social entrepreneurship ambitions in the field of finance. So this is a very thoughtful essay. It ties back into SAA. They both complement each other very well, and she provides some great illustrations as to why she wants to study, and hopefully what she wants to do with that someday. So we have again that internship she told us about. Uh, so our high school student council, definitely has some good leadership experience there, coordinating different events, fundraisers. So it's a very well-rounded student. Demonstrates a good fit for her first choice major. And so let's see what the admissions results are. So as I say, this applicant does have a very interesting background. They produce a lot of nuanced perspectives. This is, Rima has the ability to introspect and communicate her thoughts very well, develops her ideas fully, uses employs a good facility with language. And so the essays are really the strong point of this application. Definitely the social entrepreneurship program also stands out. In practice, her GPA definitely makes her a borderline applicant, and McCombs only admits about 10% of their applicants, transfer applicants each year. So her admissions score certainly decided her admissions decision. And I think in practice, I would have probably given the student a 4. I would most likely have given them a high 4. Possibly, depending on the day or my mood, I might give them a 5. But I honestly think most reviewers would probably see Rima's application as a 4, certainly a solid 4. It's possible someone could give her a 3, but I think the essays are just too strong to do that. But I think in practice, she probably did receive a 5, so she might have gotten a reviewer who was sympathetic to her application, really impressed by her essays, perhaps shares a similar background to her. And so in practice, I do believe the student probably got a 5 because spaces are so competitive. I think it's hard to see her gaining admission with a 3.9 without scoring at least a 5 or a 6. And in practice, when I was working with the student, she emailed me because it was 3 days after UT was supposed to release all their decisions, and she hadn't heard back yet. And I honestly kind of thought it was maybe like not a good sign, but about a week later, they actually did end up giving her admission, and so she probably truly was one of those very borderline applicants where her admissions review score did make the tilt the advantage in her favor, and I think she really will add a lot to UT classrooms and will be a great addition to to UT's campus and bring some cool perspectives to the organizations and things that she's involved in.